But first, here's my take. As a horrified world watches the upending of an economic order that has brought it stability and prosperity for decades, the question I hear in country after country is the same. Why is the United States, the country that has prospered so mightily under the system, tearing it down? When I explain that many Americans, including the president, believe that America has been the victim of this free trade system, the response is bewilderment. How can you not see what is blindingly obvious? One senior foreign official said to me, that you are the big winner. Donald Trump and the MAGA movement have shaped this narrative with great success. Even those who oppose Trump tend to concede that while the richest Americans and the biggest companies have succeeded in recent decades, most Americans have seen incomes stagnate, jobs get shipped overseas, and standards of living decline. None of this tells the right story. Massive changes in public policy that are transforming the world are being made based on a series of assumptions that are anecdotes, exaggerations, and lies. The basic number to keep in mind is median income. Average income is less revealing because Elon Musk's, Bill Gates's, and Jeff Bezos's incomes raise that average. Median income is the income of the American in the middle of the income distribution. Half the country makes more, half makes less. The OECD's measure of median disposable household income in America was higher than all but one advanced industrial economy as of 2021, higher than Switzerland, Germany, Britain, and Japan. The exception, by the way, is tiny Luxembourg. In fact, America's median income is around double that of Japan. And as Noah Smith points out in an excellent essay, America's median incomes have not been stagnant, as the conventional wisdom tells us. They've been growing briskly over the decades. Smith notes that real median personal income has risen by 50% since the 1970s. Hourly wages, again adjusting for inflation, are up substantially since the 1990s, and the hourly wages of the bottom third of Americans are up by even more, over 40% since then. There have no doubt been disruptions over these last decades. That's the nature of capitalism. David Autor and others have described a China shock in which around 2 million jobs were lost as a result of China's rise in manufacturing prowess. Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent inflated that number to 3.7 million recently. An essay for the conservative think tank AEI contests that number entirely and casts doubt even on the lower numbers in Autor's research. But the main point to remember is that the churn in the American labor market is huge. These days, on average, about 30 million Americans in the private sector lose their jobs annually, and a similar number gain jobs every year. During the years of the China shock, the U.S. actually gained over 2 million jobs net. And these were not low-paying jobs in fast food. Look at Flint, Michigan, and Greensboro, North Carolina, often seen as classic towns that were devastated by the loss of manufacturing. Over the last 2.5 decades, real wage growth for the poorest is up more than 40% in Flint and over 26% in Greensboro. These are not anecdotes. The Brookings Institution in 2018 looked at 185 urban counties that had lots of manufacturing jobs in 1970 and discovered that 115 had managed to transition from manufacturing, improving their well-being. Only 14 counties could still be defined as vulnerable. Remember, unemployment in the U.S. has been close to a 50-year low for more than 3 years now. In an economy as large and diverse as the U.S., there will always be places that are struggling. Part of what makes this a more pressing problem is that Americans now rarely move from places where the economy has collapsed in search of better prospects. As Yoni Applebaum notes in his book Stuck, Americans used to be highly mobile, always searching for better opportunities. But in recent decades, they have stayed put, hoping that better economic prospects would come to them. Applebaum notes a striking statistic about the 2016 race. Among white voters who had moved more than 2 hours from their hometown, Hillary Clinton enjoyed a solid 6-point lead. Those living within a 2-hour drive, though, backed Trump by 9 points, and those who had never left their hometowns supported Trump by a remarkable 26 points. These numbers paint a different picture of the nature of America's political turmoil. Change and disruption caused by capitalism or globalization or technology or, crucially, a changing culture have produced enormous anxiety among many. There are those who find these anxieties unbearable and want the world to return to what it once was. But with or without tariffs, that won't happen.